Let me know when you're live on Facebook and I can do what I do. Okay, while she works on it. Okay, good. While she works on it, we will go back to a little bit about Kwanzaa. We talked about it before, so it's a celebration. Great, we are live on Facebook. My name is Amber Guzman. I'm a licensed practitioner here at the Centers for Spiritual Living in Monterey. We want to acknowledge Reverend Robert, our senior minister, in his absence. We love him, bless him. We're so glad that he is spending time this holiday season and fifth Sunday, which he usually has off, spending time with his family. We love him, we miss him, and we can't wait for him to come back on Sunday. So since I started it, I'll just continue on about the principle of today for Kwanzaa. So Kwanzaa is relatively new. I think it started in the late 60s, early 70s by just a guy. And it's just a nice way to celebrate different principles. So there's 7 principles, there's 7 different candles, and a different candle is lit each day, and then a discussion is held about that principle. So today on the Kinara, it's the 3rd day, and the principle is ujima. It's a Swahili word, and it means collective work and responsibility. It emphasizes that communities should build, maintain, and solve problems together, sharing the burdens and success for mutual upliftment. And it's also marked by a green candle, which I thought I might bring today, but I didn't. It's been a morning. So the monthly theme for December, I'll be reading a lot of this because it's a lot. But the monthly theme for December was all about shedding our skin. And just to recap that, it says, as we move through life, we often settle into our ordinary skin, moving on with our day-to-day with comfort and familiarity. But like a snake shedding its skin, we too are called to outgrow our old ways as we evolve. We stretch and expand, and our old skin becomes tight and uncomfortable, preparing us for a transformation. And the question is, are we willing to let go of the old, surrender to the process, and embrace the wisdom that awaits us in the new? Or do we resist the change, clinging to the familiar, and cause unnecessary pain? So I wrote a lot about this topic, and I got to stick to 3 points. So I was like, how can I cram all the information that I have? Because I don't get a chance to speak very often, and when I do, I think the last time I spoke, something came up, and Reverend Tony had to save me and do it for me. But the 3 things that I'm going to try to focus on and make it fast, I'll probably skip through a lot of what I wrote, is release, refresh, and renew. And that's our talk title today. I love starting off with a reading from Ernest Holmes, and the one that I have is a little long. It's about 3 paragraphs, but I'll speak quickly. I like to bring my Science of Mind textbook with me to show everyone. I have it. Those in the sanctuary, you can see Bobby holding up my copy. That was gifted to me by the Kaku and Lawston family. And I love that particular book because it reminds me of a Bible. It's leather bound. God bless you. It's leather bound, it's got gold foil on the outside, and it just looks so fancy. But our textbook is indeed just a textbook. There's a wonderful, regular man that learned a lot of information and consolidated all into one book and brought us this concept of the science of mind. And I love that. To me, it's like a Bible. It's like a holy thing. It's just such a gift. So from that book, The Science of Mind, on pages 486 through 487, if you're a part of our first Sunday class, we read this book in the Sunshine Room after service. We invite you to attend that. But it reads, "Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." That's a quote from the Bible, Romans chapter 12, verse 2. And he continues, "Today we know what this means. The renewing of the mind is a scientific act. As the conscious thought pours truth into the subjective channels of creative energy, the body is automatically renewed, and this is a mental healing. Mental healing is a conscious act as well as an established fact in the experience of many people. Instead of the old concepts of disease and failure, we are to inject those of liberty, freedom, health, harmony, and success. Mental healing is subject to the exact laws of the mind and spirit, and it's accomplished by correct knowing. This knowing is a mental attitude towards the truth. It is the truth which makes us free, and it is the mind which knows the truth. Last paragraph of his. The body is healed and the inner mind is transformed, and the old false images of thought are renewed by images of truth and life. The process through which this reviewing takes place is a conscious one and may be practiced by anyone who understands the principle involved. That was a lot of words, but consolidated, it's such a powerful statement, all about surrender, release, and acknowledging that we, in our consciousness, can change things about ourselves, because it all starts with us. It's an inside job. We have to become aware of what the old is, be honest that we may still be holding on to it, and find the tools and courage to release those ties and let it go. I'm going to skip this because I got a lot to say today. Let's go back to snakes. Snakes are used as a metaphor for regrowth, rebirth, resurrection, cycles, death, transition, because they shed their skin. It's a process of regrowth, starting anew, new beginnings, maturity, and shed skin is also an indicator of the past, being able to see where you were, what didn't fit at the time, and your new life with that wisdom, releasing the old. So I did share that song, I Release and I Let Go. Pitiful. Thank you so much for singing with me. My piano needs practice, but I am becoming, like many of you. Our beloved Ricky Byers created that song, and it has become a global anthem in the New Thought movement. It is, if someone says New Thought, they're like, oh, Ricky Byers, and I Release and I Let Go. It's just that powerful of a work. And it opens our hearts wide, releasing struggle and strife, lifting the faith to see the light, claiming the freedom in the spirit, and being available and here for God. Interpretation of those words. I want to skip forward through all this that I wrote, because I got to get 3 points in, and I got to get them in like 10 minutes, because I have another song for you too. Okay, so there was also a popular song that Carrie Underwood, who's a country artist, wrote called Jesus Take the Wheel. And it's just like, you know, I'm driving, I can't see where I'm going, just Lord, help me through it, which is the Christian interpretation of that song, Jesus Take the Wheel. But one of my favorite stories about releasing was told to me by one of the pastors at a church that I used to attend, a Baptist church. And Pastor Anthony Davis told of this woman. We're going back to the gold rush times when people were in carriages and the roads weren't fully formed. And there was a lady in her family, and she had the brunt of the burden. She was carrying all their things they were getting from one place to another. Who knows where they were going in the story? We can make it up. But she was carrying this huge sack, potatoes, who knows what was inside. And she was walking along the road, and finally someone went by on the road that was in a wagon, a covered wagon. And he offered them a ride. They were elated. They jump into the wagon, and they're continuing on their way. It's a little easier now. You know, they don't have to trudge their way through it. And they get a few miles back, and the carriage driver turned back and looked at the lady who was enjoying the trip, but she was still carrying the sack on her back. She's sitting down, not walking, but still carrying that load with her. And I just really love that metaphor, because it's as if it was speaking to me directly. Because sometimes in my journey, I have found that I want to move forward. I need to move forward. I'm ready to let it go, and yet something will trigger me, and I'm right back where I was. I've got that load on my back and I haven't moved hardly anywhere. So that was the story I wanted to share about release. You have to release. Get in the wagon and let it go. You don't have to carry the things that you choose not to carry anymore. You can let somebody else take the wheel and carry that burden if you need to. The second point that I had was about refreshing and changing our thoughts. And a lot of times when we think about refreshing, I get a kick out of listening to the radio. And when I was in Louisiana for Thanksgiving, I visited my children there. I have 2 daughters and now 2 sons because they are married. And I was listening to the radio and they're singing this song that literally makes me want to cringe because it's a remake of a song that I grew up with, that I knew, that was popular at the time. And they've transformed it and remixed it into something completely completely, maybe I'm looking at your beautiful your hairdo, I don't know, completely new and different. That's how I was merging the words together, new and different. And they loved it, and it was so cringe to me because it was different. I wasn't accustomed to that. And it was the same way with my mother's generation, my aunts and uncles. I'd be listening to Summertime by Will Smith, and they were like, no, that's Summertime, it's just this beautiful melodic thing, you know, that's another song. And so it just continues. Isn't it funny, like we're our own ancestors, how that happens. But when there's a remix to a song, that when that new melody is added or that new version is created, it makes it more distinct than the original. Something is new that's added that makes a fresh sound this time around. And I wanted to look at it a different way. I've done this, so I don't know if you ever have, but sometimes I like to read. A lot of the times I like to read. I've read 54 books so far this year. Yay me. I love to read, and I read on my Kindle, but sometimes I'll sit down on the couch or in my bed in a not, you know, my chiropractor would say this is not the way you should be sitting all day, but I'll sit for hours and I'll just read my books. And then I'm like, oh, I have to go to the restroom, whatever I need to do. I get up. I'm 50 years old now. Things are creaking, I'm like hurting, and I'm like, or my leg will fall asleep, and then I have to wait until that uncomfortability goes away. And worst things, sometimes both of those happen. But my body's been used to being in one position, being used to being one way. And then when I asked it to do something different, it had a hard time adjusting to that new. I'm looking at the time here, so I almost have to skip some of this. It's really good. I should put it on my YouTube channel and let you listen to this whole talk because it is good, but I don't want to take up too much of our time today, and there's more to the story. But one thing, I'm wearing a beautiful stole. I don't know if you saw this. I am a licensed practitioner, so this stole has the teaching symbol on it, and it was gifted to me by Irene, who is a wonderful artist. She does so many beautiful things, and one of them is sewing. And thank you, Irene, for the gift. But when I was in practitioner training, for some reason, I just thought that that was the magic pill, that I was going to do 2 years worth of training, I was going to get the knowledge, and then I was going to be like a force to be reckoned with. I was going to be amazing, this changed individual, nothing was ever going to bother me. And I guess I still have another couple years before I reach that perfection level, because it hasn't hit yet. But I came to New Thought because of The Secret. You know, it was at first just the law of attraction that brought me to it. I just wanted the stuff. Give me the stuff. I want all the cars, I want the parking spaces, I want the new man, which I ended up getting. You know, I manifested that new guy in my life who, of course, we've been married for 10 years now. He's such a blessing. But as we were going along our journey, you know, something would happen and I'd be like right back to that unholy person that I am, that I'm still becoming through. And I just think it's just such a perfect illustration about changing. Joe Dispenza, I don't know if any of you have heard about Joe Dispenza, but he talks a lot about neuroplasticity. And that's defined as your brain's remarkable capacity to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections in your brain. Like, it is a physical change. It's just not, oh, I'm thinking different, No, there is something that physically happens in your body. You become a new person with each of these new opportunities that you grow through. And so Joe Dispenza says that when you undergo a change in your thinking, it's not just willy-nilly, it's a biological, a neurological, a chemical, and genetic death of your old self. You are becoming. So it's not easy. We get into these habits. You know, you drove here, how many are actually thinking and concentrating on what you're doing as you're putting your turn signal on, moving? We kind of go through these things in life automatically. And so getting out of that rut and learning something new and becoming different is a big deal. It's a neurological change. It's a physical change. Sometimes it's not comfortable. It can feel like a withdrawal. Sometimes I liked being mad. I liked being angry. It was comfortable. It was a place that I grew up in. Petty was my job. And I'm slowly evolving through that. And it's okay. One of the teachers that I had in, well, it wasn't a practitioner school. I was taking classes to get my master's at the Holmes Institute at one point, and I stopped doing that because I changed my mind from here to there. And, but one of the teachers, I wish I could remember his name, he was so sweet. He taught us that we are remembering who we are. We're here on this plane on Earth to experience everything that we're not. You know, we think we're not this, we think we're not that. We are all things. We are all that in a bag of chips, as we used to say. We are fantastic beings, but we feel that separation in this physical form. And where was I going with that? See, this is why I should just read my notes, because I got lost. Help me out. I was talking about, the teacher in practitioner training. This is not in my notes. This is why I should stick with the script. But he always said, you know, we're doing this change where we as soul, as our being, our true selves, we are everything, but we have to live and do things. So we are human beings. Emphasis on the be. Our only job is to be. We don't have to do anything, but we live here. We've got to get a job. We've got to feed our families. We've got to do some things. So it's this constant dance between the doing and the being. So he says, do, be, and it becomes a song. Do, be, right? And I loved that so much. It is a constant dance that we do as we remember who we are. So I'm going to skip all of this because we're on a time constraint. And I want to remind you that in the same ways you don't consciously brush your teeth, tie your shoes, drive on the freeway, all those things that you don't think about, that you have a choice to consciously add some spice and remix those old tunes. You get an opportunity to make a change and walk away from some of those things that you don't. So we're going to change cameras, and I'm going to walk over to the piano, and I'm going to nervously pick out a song, and if they mute this on YouTube, that's even better because, okay, I'm going to stop. But this song is by Eddie Watkins Jr., and it's not this one. It's this one here. Yeah. It's called I Walk Away. And it perfectly illustrates these points. And I really wanted somebody else to play it because it's a little difficult for somebody who's just learning piano, but I'm going to do my best. And guess what? In about 3 minutes, it's going to be over, so bear with me. And I didn't get to practice today, and it's going to be great. Every morning, the light keeps getting brighter. as I wake up to the truth. And every day I'm feeling so much lighter, and the world seems fresh and new. What I was taught and the way that I thought stopped serving me long ago. Now I'm learning to trust in the God of all of us. Each day I start anew, and so I'm walking away from the thinking that held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that led me to confusion. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the thinking that held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that led me to such sadness. Today is the day I walk away. Every day I walk away. Every morning brings a new beginning. By grace another day to be. I awaken to the sun upon me shining, lighting a way for me to see. The things I sought and the way that I thought stopped serving me so long ago. Now I'm learning to trust in the God of all of us. Of yesterday I'm letting go. I'm walking away from the thinking that held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that led me to confusion. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the less than that held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that led me to such sadness. Today is the day I walk away. Every day I walk away. Today is the day I walk walk away. Thank you. Thank you. We can go back to camera. I did not want to do that, but that song perfectly embodies what I get to do, what you get to do. We all have a choice to release, renew, and refresh. And in closing, let's get down to the bottom of this. Whew. Refresh, that's where I am. Ringing in the renewal. It's the end of the year, and it's a great time to make resolutions. I stopped doing that a long time ago because when I make a resolution, I tend to realize towards maybe around March or so, sometimes even in February that, yeah, I'm over it. I just want the pancakes and whatever it is I want to eat. But there's a class that's offered by Kaku Consulting, a great business, and our business owner is actually one of our congregants, Denise Kaku, and she holds it every year here in this sanctuary. I forget what she calls it, but basically it's like a soul collage. It's a time to make our goals. You do a lot of newspaper clippings and magazine clippings, and you get to name your year. Yes, that's the name of the program, Name Your Year, with Denise Kaku on behalf of Kaku Consulting. And I did that last year. I do it every year if I can. And during that time, you get to write a letter to yourself. And she mails it to you at the end of the year. So I get this letter, and the address, you know, it's my handwriting. I'm like, this looks so familiar. And then I look at the back, I'm like, oh, Kaku Consulting, this is my letter. And I read it, and none of the things that I wanted to do came true. But sometimes it does, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't really matter at all, because it's not where we think we're going. It's the art of getting there. It's the art of becoming that makes it special. Trying to play the piano, trying to play the guitar, ukulele, trying to give a talk when you weren't really up for it, and so many things went wrong in your morning, but you know that just being is enough. It's enough. And it's like splashing water on my face. It's just refreshing to know that I can be renewed with each step, with each talk, with each interaction with one of you. I've come to realize that there's a greater version than me right where I am right now. I'm my own ancestor. I love that. So, in conclusion, we always have a call to action. And mine is this, that we have a new opportunity that's awaiting us. What are we going to do with it? Will we treat it as we have in the past? Or will we somehow make this a truly new and unique moment to springboard into something different and manifest our heart's desires? It's up to us how we remix it and make it new. So I offer this treatment now, and I ask if you'd like to get comfortable and close your eyes. I should play my own background music while I do the treatment. Wouldn't that be nice? Goals, goals. But get comfortable if you're inclined. I kind of wrote some notes as I read this. I usually do my treatments different, but I don't want to miss anything with this. Because I know that there is just one. There's one thing happening at all times, divine source, guiding light, love, peace, joy, abundance. It is the essence of life. It's the current that enfolds us at every second of the day, and it is all there is. And because God is all there is, I know that I am. I am all those wonderful qualities of the divine. I am powerful. I am a light, and I am soul. I'm not this meat suit. I am infinite possibilities. I share the one divine mind. I am a cup of the waters of the everlasting one. And as I walk through this human experience, I am constantly shedding my skin, shedding the skin of pettiness, of expectation, of feeling justified, holding on to anger. I understand that these thoughts no longer serve me. They confine me like the old skinned snake shedding its skin. That past was my prison. And as I go through, I grow through. I begin to understand that I'm slowly developing into a mindset of openness. I see that this temporary shedding of the skin, this uncomfortableness is only temporary, and I'm evolving on becoming remixed. I'm becoming to see beyond my current state of seeing. I'm thinking beyond my current state of thinking. I'm expecting beyond my current state of expecting. I'm knowing beyond my current state of knowledge right now. And I know that as my brain rewires itself biologically, neurologically, I can't say the word, neurologically, chemically, genetically, it's physically changing, and I'm becoming more of my true self with each iteration. A self that's never been hurt, harmed, or in danger. The self that is pure light, pure joy, pure love. I know that I am perfect, whole, and complete, and ready for the refreshing time of renewal. I'm not afraid. I give thanks that these lessons all month and all year that Reverend Robert has shared with us, that Ernest Holmes has shared with us, these gifts. I am grateful for the teaching. I'm grateful for the philosophers that were studied, the non-traditional teachers, Jesus, Buddha, Ba'aullah, all of the teachers. I am thankful for them. I'm thankful for their knowledge that they have released and allowed us to absorb so that we can decide and change ourselves, which gets us one step closer to living in a world that works for everyone. I release my word into this law, this Play-Doh that is moldable and movable and conforms to the nature of my thoughts. I know that I am already demonstrating this new skin, this new center, this new me. I release my word into this law, knowing that the universe's only song is yes. Yes. And if any of this treatment resonates with you, I invite you to say with me now, and so it is. Thank you for bearing with me through that. Hopefully it wasn't too long. This is a time that we've come to now that we get to share in our abundance and practice the law of circulation. And this is my favorite part, because as that basket comes around in a moment, we're going to do an affirmation, and then there will be a basket. If you'd like to donate something, you may. If not, the little wands that you were given, you can put the wand in the basket. Put your intentions into the basket and know that whatever you give to the universe, it will come back to you. So let's say our affirmation of abundance together, and it's on the screen. I recognize the presence of God within as the source of my abundance. Out of my abundance consciousness flows everything I could desire in life. With gratitude and thanksgiving, I now participate in the flow of uninterrupted abundance. This prosperous experience is evidence of my abundance consciousness. So as Alex passes the basket, you can put your thoughts, intentions, and love into it. Also your magic wands that we passed out earlier while we sang the Karen Drucker song. And on our screen, there are also ways to give. You can give by mail, sending a check or money order to Franklin Street address, or you can text the word give to the number on our screen, or you can go online and give with donations there. So we thank you. We bless you. Facebook, we say goodbye to you. And we hope you have a wonderful day. We will see you next week with Reverend Robert.